Hey, welcome to another devlog of LogisticCity. And today I started by placing down more houses so we can finish milestone 16. So I needed 15 luxury houses, and now I also need to increase my satisfaction to 80%, and that require watches. And other resources like toys and Canada goods are going down very slowly because tier 4 housing consumes less of these resources. So it will take a while for this to go down, but it will go down. I can see it going down. And I will now work on producing more watches. And then I'll see if I need to tweak something or I can leave it like this. Here you can see me fixing the production of smart luxury watches and smartphones. I had to increase the production of a lot of things, and I ended up changing the ratios later. Here you can see me adding another Canada goods factory and another toy factory. Then I had to increase my productivity module production. Then I moved my maintenance depot somewhere where I had more space because I was not producing enough tools. Then I added the smartphone factory and I had to increase my oil production. Then I also had to increase my gold alloy production. I also removed all my coal generators. I also moved my water production outside the city center. And here I was increasing my productivity module production. So you just saw me doing a lot of things. I was working over here on getting smartphones and the luxury watches working. Let me go over there. Okay, so over here I have like luxury watches and I changed the ratio so it uses 2 cases and 2 batteries but only one advanced circuit because it's really hard to make the circuits. Like you can see over here how big my factory is just for circuits. So I have a plastic over here, then I have iron, then I have all this part here, and then I have copper down here, and all this didn't produce enough circuits for everything I needed. And I think the bottleneck was like I just couldn't produce like enough circuits. So I decided to change it a bit so it consumes less circuits. It still consumes a lot, but it's less than before. And then it consumes more of the other items, which I think is a good trade-off. Then I also added the smartphone factory down here, and I'm using circuits. Let me see, I moved the map temporarily down because otherwise it was cropping too much. This is just a temporary fix. I am down here. You can see me. And I needed to deal with like manure or fertilizer. I'm not consuming enough fertilizer, so I'm stocking it in these chests because it's too far away to move the fertilizer from here to my farms. So I need to think a way to deal with those like byproducts. I'm also like I was having I was producing too much garbage and not consume it fast enough. So I also have some chests over here, you can see. And because I increased I am not producing more resources, it increased my productivity module consumption and I'm still not producing enough. And that will consume even more when I add more residents. So I'm working here. I think my bottleneck now is just I don't know if I have a bottleneck. I just yeah, I don't have enough conveyors, carbon fibers, and I think I just have to scale my production. Like it's just about scaling a lot of things, and that's what I continue doing. I've been working on some other stuff. So I changed the house housing for to consume more energy and fruits. Energy is easy to produce. You can just use like oil generators instead of coal generators. And fruit, you should already be using the improved fertilizer. If you are doing that, it shouldn't be a big difference. But if you're not, then you're gonna need the improved fertilizer. I also made a change to only keep the last 5 saves. So whenever you save your game, it keeps like it creates a new file. It doesn't override the existing one because the game is still in early access and it might crash or corrupt your board. So now I just create a new file and I keep only the last 5. I also added the break speed boost. It makes you break tiles faster. In the early game, you don't need that a lot, but as you expand and get your factory bigger, you need to reduce stuff. So the break boost helps. And I also added the new block. It's called the incinerator, and it basically burns items. It just destroys them. And you might need it in like in these cases where your residents produce garbage and you are turning your garbage into fertilizer, but you are not consuming all that fertilizer. So you need to do something with that. And I built the incinerator, but it consumes a lot of energy. So let me see if I can. Sometimes you can see it happening. It's not all the time, but uh, yeah, I'm producing. Oh, you see, like I just had some items get incinerated, and I have another incinerator down here. I think it's over here for the fertilizer that's being produced by the cattle farm, and I'm not moving all that over here. And I also created the crafter 2 and 3, and I changed the texture. I didn't like this texture a lot. I think it's better than what I had before, but still it's too complex. I like the mixer texture. It's very simple. It's ugly, but it's simple. The chemical plant is also very visible that this is a chemical plant, but the crafter is very bloated. Like this texture is too complex. I need to find something even simpler, but it's a bit hard to do that. But anyway, the Crafter 2 is just 25% faster than the Crafter 1, and the Crafter 3 is 50% faster. The same thing as the chemical plants. I started working on a chart to show like your production and consumption of items. Right now I'm just doing it for the module assembler. So you can see that I'm creating module 2 and 1, and then I'm consuming these resources. And these numbers, I think it's every 5 seconds. So it shows the last like 25 seconds of production. So I consume the 7 circuit, then 6, then 6, then 5. And you can see that I'm slowly consuming. I'm consuming like on average like 16, 18. Sometimes I consume more for some reason. So you see that's probably like a bottleneck here where I only consume the 8. And this is how many I'm producing every 5 seconds. So maybe like producing 8 or 7 on average, something around that. And I need to, like, these numbers are not easy to understand, so I need to think how I'm gonna draw this or how to better visualize these numbers. I decided to only show the amount of production for each item. This is not very useful either, but it's not confusing. I don't think this is something people would want, but for now I will leave it like this. Today I decided to work on something different, so I started adding sounds to my machines. It's still very basic, but it's the first time I'm doing this, so I have no idea how to do it. You can see that if I start moving closer to machines, it will start emit some sounds. You can see like the mixer sound, and the closer I get, the higher the sound gets. It's probably too high here, but this is one sound I added. It's not looking very well, but if I move away it stops playing. Then I have one sound for the miner. I have another sound for the crafter and it's playing both right now. Here you can see the crafter sound. Let me move. like here. You can see I have a lot of crafters. I think I like the crafter sound. It's the only one I currently like. The other ones aren't very good. Yeah, you can see that as I move from these crafters to these crafters, the sound starts getting higher again. Today I decided to start working on a start screen for my game. So right now I just have a background. It's not very beautiful, but I have three buttons. I have like the new game, load game, options, and quit. Options does nothing, quits the game, and these two buttons do the same thing. So if I try loading the game, I have like my existing saves, or I can create a new world, and I can just load the world. Then I go back to my world, and there's also a pause screen now. I can save the game in here. I can quit it, save and quit it to the main menu. Then I can come here and load again, and I can also quit to menu.